Alrighty, let's declutter and organize the kids' bathroom today. In the previous video, I mentioned that we already went through the girls' jewelry. That way we were able to make space in this drawer to tuck away their toothbrushes and toothpaste instead of having them sit on the sink. And in the meantime, I found these awesome bins at Target that I wanted to use in this drawer. They were $2 for each set, so I thought that was a super great deal, and it would give me a good chance to unify this drawer as I declutter it. I do want to mention that as I have been decluttering the whole house, I have really stayed away from going inside of stores. This time when I did the order pickup, I wanted to go check out some of the kids' clothes just to get a better idea of if I actually need some clothes, what it would entail, and how much they would cost. I also ended up checking out the women's section. Really liked a few shirts from there, but decided to pass on them, and I rewarded myself for not spending money on clothes or anything that I don't actually need, and I bought these nice little treats as a reward. So I survived that shopping experience without buying any more things that I won't actually use. Now back to this drawer. So the goal that I had in mind was to try to give the girls a section of this drawer for their own personal use where they can take ownership of their area and section. The biggest challenge I faced doing their drawer was trying to make the same sections for each child. And so if they had like a hair section versus perfume little section, I really wanted to be able to squeeze as many little compartments in their section as possible. And with them not having tons of space in their bedroom, everything that they use to get ready for the day basically has to stay in the bathroom. I focused a little less on decluttering this time around, and that's because I really wanted them to see what they actually own and have. That way, once they were grouped together, they're able to go through their own stuff and decide if they have too many of the same thing. And they condense so much on jewelry, which is something that they don't wear often, and I know the things that are left in here are things that they actually use. And look, it's another one of these boxes again. I really like using boxes from cell phones or technology or different things that we've accumulated over the years. They're really sturdy boxes, and I tend to keep them for a very long time until I'm able to find replacement bins that are affordable and cheap like I did this time around. As I went through the hair ties and the clips, I ended up throwing a lot of them out because I think they're just really old, and with 3 girls out of the 4 kids, they use them all the time, and I was definitely overdue to go through them. For a while, I had the clips and the hair ties separate into 2 containers, but I noticed that they were starting to get mixed up, and so I just made my life easier and put them together since the girls didn't mind. A lot of the bins that I already had in there were ones that I got for a few cents from the thrift store, or they were just handed to me from other people who didn't need them anymore. And I got some really good life out of them, as some of them I had for over a decade. I'm planning on using them in the schoolroom since I'll need a lot of different containers, different sizes, and all that in there. Except for this one that I'll be passing along since it's just not practical to have inside of a drawer. What still surprises me every single time we go through things and get rid of them, just how much of a difference it can possibly make. Like even in this little drawer, I felt like it looked more stuffed and cluttered before, and just getting rid of a bunch of small things still makes such a huge difference. And then obviously rearranging it for it to be more easily accessible just makes such a huge difference. This was one of those areas that kind of turned into a dump zone without even realizing it, because there was things that didn't belong in their bedroom that they would take and put in these drawers, and it's probably because there was just so many things in here and it was so easy to just tuck it away and leave it there. But now, because everything has a home and has a place and everyone has their own little space, they don't just take anything and just stick it in here anymore, because now it's easier to see that everything has a home, and the things that don't belong here, this is just simply not their home. This drawer has stayed like this for a few weeks now, and I'm anticipating it not being an issue anymore because everything in here has become so easily accessible, and again, everyone just has their own section, so it makes it a lot easier than combining a bunch of things together and the girls having to dig through to find what they're looking for. I've had this jewelry keeper since high school, and I was really contemplating just letting the girls use it, but the truth is, not being able to see clearly the jewelry inside just added a little bit more of a mess factor. I think if they were older it would have worked out fine, but I'm noticing with younger kids it really helps for them to see what they actually have, and just being able to open the drawer and not having to take off a lid just helps with them putting things back in order. And here I am left with a brush not knowing where to put it, so be ready for having to shift things around because it is challenging to pick and choose how to actually organize it and store it. And so I try to separate the headbands based on the girls instead of all of them together in order to gain the individual space for the brush. And just like that, with less than $10, the girls not have an organized space. I ended up changing their laundry system to the dark cabinet that you see in here. Now each child has their own dirty pile, and I ended up getting rid of the mats on the floor because they constantly shifted and moved, so they really weren't even things that we enjoyed. So here's the second drawer. I basically just regrouped them and decided what I wanted to get rid of. That first section is basically like teeth related and body things. Here's the hair section. Then I have like the washcloths and things that I clean the bathroom with. I like to have it here. And then I have the toilet paper, things related to the toilet. And I have these bath bombs that I haven't really used. I'm pretty sure they were gifts, and I think those are the only things that I'm going to pass along from this drawer because realistically I won't be using them. I do want to find a better way to store that little section so that I can easily access the cleaning things. Now moving on to the bath toys, I decided to separate them. The ones in the container are actually the ones that I'm getting rid of, and the ones out of the container are the ones that I'm holding on to. This container was so full, it was exploding, and I feel like it was just a struggle to get the toys put away. Between the toys that I'm keeping, I do want to keep only one of these two bigger toys. I just have to decide which ones are used more often and then decide which one we're going to part with. So here's what it looks like with the toys that we're keeping. They fit nicely in the bin and they're not exploding. So this is the last thing that I have in the kids' bathroom. I didn't have it in here before, but I had to move it from my bathroom because I really just didn't want to see it anymore. I wanted to get it off my mind and then make a decision without seeing it daily. So it's makeup that I'm not using, but I'm just really struggling to take them all and throw them out. So I think I just need some time as I go through different areas of the house. Hopefully I'll get better and better at this decluttering thing. For some reason, this has been one of my bigger struggles. I actually love the box itself, but really have no use for it, so emptying it out would mean me having to part with it, and I'm just not ready for that since I've had it all through my teen years. I'm absolutely blown away that we were able to get rid of 72 items from their bathroom because I was sure there would only be a handful of items to pass along. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe. It's the best way to support us. We really appreciate it, and we hope you have a wonderful day.